Johnson, did you do it?
I plead guilty.
You plead guilty?
Yes, I done it.
The details in this case are both shocking and triggering. Please be advised. Sherry Johnson was a 51-year-old woman living in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. She worked as a guidance school counselor at Hattiesburg High School. When she wasn't working, she could be seen in the stands cheering on Hattiesburg footballers. Ms. Johnson was a member of the Church of Christ. She was an advocate of education and was known by many in her community. The family of Sherry described her as having a beautiful soul and was loved by many. Sadly, Sherry's home life was anything but peaceful. She shared her home with her 29-year-old son, Terrelle Johnson. Terrelle was an Army veteran who was expelled by the Department of Veterans Affairs after a prior arrest. According to the police, they had been called out to Sherry's home before regarding domestic disputes involving her and Terrelle. On Wednesday, June 6, 2018, relatives contacted police, asking that they check on Sherry. Relatives had been concerned because they hadn't seen Sherry Johnson in a while and Terrelle had been insisting she had gone on a cruise. When cops arrived at the Johnson home, to conduct a welfare check on Sherry at the request of her two brothers and sister, who hadn't heard from the 51-year-old since June 3, they walked in to find a grisly scene. "When I entered the bedroom," Boggs said, "I immediately noticed blood everywhere." According to him, there was blood on the floor, the bed and even the walls. Johnson was home at the time, calmly sitting on the front porch when deputies arrived, Boggs said. Cops eventually found his mother in the backyard, her body lying approximately 15 feet from her severed head, which was tossed over a fence. Deputies arrested Johnson and took him in for questioning.
There was evidence of a crime.
29-year-old Terrelle Johnson, Sherry Johnson's son, said Sherry wasn't home. She was out on a cruise. Authorities asked if they could check the house. Terrelle said yes.
We continued to check the house and asked him, where's his mom? And that's when he told me where her body was.
Sherry Johnson's body was found in the backyard of her home. Authorities say with her head decapitated from her body. The Stone County coroner says preliminary evidence reveals she died from multiple blunt and sharp force trauma.
We've had murders before, but it just wasn't the type of murder where the whole community, come together and mourn.
Crime scene workers completed their investigation the following morning, and the interrogation began soon after. Police Captain Ray Boggs testified in court that officers arrived at the home Sherry shared with Terrelle, who, at first, told the cops his mother was on a cruise. They didn't believe him. From there, Terrelle allowed the officers into the house where they made their gruesome find, with Boggs noting, "When I entered the bedroom, I immediately noticed blood everywhere, on the floor, on the bed, on the walls." Terrelle told me he beat his mom up real bad. He said it got out of hand. Reportedly, the mother and son had been arguing about credit cards when Terrelle exploded into a homicidal rage. After strangling Sherry and slicing her throat with the butter knife, Terrelle allegedly chewed through her neck and tore her head off with his hands. Boggs said the suspect explained he took Sherry's remains out back so the house wouldn't smell bad. Investigators believe Johnson died either late Sunday night or early Monday morning because they can't find anyone who talked with her Monday or Tuesday. Her remains were discovered on Wednesday. Terrelle Johnson reportedly has a considerable history of mental illness and legal trouble. Defense attorney Jim Davis said he does not know yet whether or not he'll enter a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. Davis stated, "Terrelle does have a substantial history, and you all heard the facts of this particular case. That's not a normal homicide. We've got to wait until we get the records and probably have him properly evaluated. Then, we'll kind of know where we're headed."
We're at the beginning stages of this, and like any criminal case, we got a long way to go.
Shockingly, there hasn't been any more information provided regarding this specific case. However, an attack involving Terrelle re-emerged during this case. A year prior, Terrelle was locked up. A lawsuit filed in the United States District Court for the Southern District of Mississippi on March 4, 2019 claims Johnson bit off a fellow inmate's nose and lips while in custody on June 29, 2015. Jaron Stubbs filed the complaint against the United States Federal Bureau of Prisons and Stone County Correctional Facility. Stubbs said he was being held in federal custody pending charges when he was attacked by Johnson. The lawsuit also alleges that Johnson was unstable, mentally ill and posed a threat to other inmates. Stubbs claimed Johnson should have been placed in an isolated cell, but because he was related to a Stone County Sheriff Department official, Johnson was moved around the jail and kept in general population. On December 20, 2021, the case was dismissed with prejudice. It may be fair to assume that Terrelle has been put away into a mental institution as he poses a threat to society. Please continue to keep the family of Sherry Johnson in your thoughts and prayers. Rest in peace, Sherry Johnson.